Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we close out today's show, which has been kind of like an Arkansas show. We started with wild man Steve Wilson out of his retirement as of yesterday. And then we moved on to Melissa Jones, who has been the manager up there at the Steve Hinkle Spring River State Fish Hatchery for 31 years. That's hard to believe. And now we're going to move over and talk a little bit about a topic that scares all of us outdoorsmen, particularly us hunters, and particularly those who have kept track of the elk herd in Arkansas. I was involved. I was right there when they had their very first elk hunt. I was there, and I saw the gentleman from Michigan pay $42,500, I think, to kill that big bull elk that he killed. In fact, I think he won it twice. But we're going to talk to Cory Gray. He is the deer program coordinator for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. A little bit about chronic wasting disease, CWD as we call it here. And first of all, good morning, Cory.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing great. Let's talk a little bit about this was discovered when maybe earlier this year. Is that right, that we found some elk with CWD? That's
correct. We had an elk return positive for chronic wasting disease. The lab that we used notified us on February the 17th.
Mm-hmm.
And when the lab, when they get it's called a suspect animal, and then they send those tissues or that sample off to USDA at Ames, Iowa, and then they're the confirmation. They're your gold seal, 100% real deal truth. And so that confirmation came in on February the 23rd. And so in the meantime there, we had some whitetail samples that also we had one come back. And so, but the ball began rolling. The domino first fell on February 17th.
And then you took your samples in March, 125,000 acres, which is a big area. And, of course, it's near Ponca and near Pruitt. So you took your samples, and out of the samples, what did you learn?
Yeah, that was the determined prevalence rate. And, we were fortunate in that in 2006 we had a CWD response plan developed. And
yes.
The plan has been sitting on the shelf since that time. So when the notification came in, we got that plan down, we freshened it up, and we started implementing it. And the first thing that we needed to do was draw that cylinder shape around our samples.
Uh-huh.
And we started randomly collecting deer, and we sampled 266 random deer, and out of those, 62 come back positive. And so what that does, that gives you a 23% prevalence rate.
Yeah.
So that tells you how prevalent the disease is inside that focal area. Then the next step we needed to do when we're talking about disease management is to get on the outside edges of it. And so that's where Phase 2 was implemented, and that's where we're at right now, is that we're picking up roadkill animals and then target animals. And targets would be any animal that's showing any kind of sick, illness, symptoms of this disease. And so we're in that phase now. We've collected 420 roadkill to date. We've collected 86 target animals. And we've had 6 roadkills come back positive, 15 target animals come back positive. So when you do the math, we've collected a total of 819 samples, and 84 of them have come back positive. 84 of them have come back positive for the disease. That's elk and whitetails together.
So, Cory, we're talking to Cory Gray, the deer program coordinator for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. Cory, for our listeners that are not familiar with what is CWD and why is this such a serious thing that we need to really be on top of?
Yeah, what separates chronic wasting disease from others is it's not a virus. It's not like hemorrhagic disease or blue tongue where it's a virus and it'll run its course and it's over with. It's not a bacteria. It's actually an abnormal shape, misfolded protein that's in the animal's body, which we all have proteins in our bodies, but for some reason this causes this one to misform or fold abnormally, and then it can cause others to do the same. And it's a fatal, always fatal, no cure, no therapy, neurological disease. And so when the animal acquires it, the end of the line is death. What's scary about it is that the disease is very resilient. It withstands heat, chemicals, enzymes, and time. There's nothing that seems to break it down. And then also, it can lay dormant in the body and not show itself up to 18 months.
Golly, yeah.
The animal can be shedding it as early as 6 months of age, or 6 months of acquiring the disease, but may not show clinical symptoms until 18 months. So that's the thing. And when you look at these samples that we've collected, especially out of the focal area, these were deer that were not exhibiting any illness at all, and 62 of them come back positive.
Wow.
So that's the scary thing about this disease. An animal can look perfectly healthy, but it can show up positive for the disease.
How does this disease get here? I mean, that was always I can remember when we brought the elk into Arkansas, we brought our elk into Tennessee. Everybody was talking. We got our elk from Elk Island up in Alberta, and brought our elk into Tennessee. And how does it get here?
Yeah, that's the thing. In Arkansas, we're not certain how it got here.
Okay.
And there's a lot of talk as whether the elk brought them in or where they came from. We're not certain, and so we try to stick in the realm of what we know, not what we think we know.
Uh-huh.
And so right now we don't know where the disease come from. And to be honest, we may not find the actual source of it. We know that the disease can be moved through carcasses.
Yeah.
We know it can be transferred through live animals, moving through live animals. So we don't know just yet. There's still more information to be gathered.
Well, I was there when the first elk hunt, and I've been with Mr. Cartwright that did all this and learned about this, and we've talked about this for I don't know how many years to do this. But from your perspective, Cory, how serious is this?
Well, I mean, as a manager, you don't want any illness in your herd. Your goal is to manage a healthy, productive, sustainable population.
Mm-hmm.
So when chronic wasting disease came in, or when it was identified, it's a heartbreaker. You don't want to see this in your deer herd or your elk herd. But is it going to end the world? It's not. I mean, you look at the states that have the disease, they still have a high population of the animals. They're still maintaining their harvest rate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you look at Newton County, which is, again, a high prevalence rate. But the harvest in Newton County has almost doubled in the last 5 years.
Really?
When you look at the harvest, it's not showing a red flag of a disease. And so that's kind of puzzling about it, to have as high prevalence rate as we have, but the harvest numbers have steadily inclined.
What about Boone County? That's the two counties we're talking about here.
Yeah, Boone's the same way. I mean, still having strong harvest in those counties. So you start thinking, well, maybe the population there is so productive that it's overcoming it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not certain. There's more information to be gathered. But that's the hope that we're going to hang on to is we've got some sick animals out there on the landscape, but the overall health of the herd and the productivity of the herd is going to overcome it, and that's where we're hoping we're going to reside.
Well, and again, no one wants this on their beat, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's hit for you. So in your situation, how long have you been with the Game and Fish?
16 years.
And how long have you been in this position?
Probably about 12.
I thought you had, yeah. So this is something that you always look for and don't want to happen. But the way I understand it, the public has really come forward to help you guys, right?
They have. I mean, our Arkansas hunters, Arkansas public, they're a true asset to us.
Yes.
And with the roadkill animals, they're reporting a great number of those. I mean, our staff is picking up, 130 roadkill every 7 days.
Every 7 days. Yeah.
So that's, it's hard to believe we run over that many of them. But
Yeah.
and the thing about it is we're able to collect that many of them.
And that's deer. That's deer and elk. Are we talking about mostly deer now?
Mostly deer. We've
Yeah.
only had one roadkill elk.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Though we don't run over too many of those.
No, I don't think you don't want to run over too many of those. Again, we're talking to Cory Gray, Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, and I know Cory, you guys, you've got an 800 number. If anybody, we have a lot of listeners in East Arkansas, and and I'm over at Mountain Home a lot. Spend a lot of time in that area, and a lot of folks, of course, go to hear the elk, to see the elk, and it's a great tourism attraction. But 1-800-482-9262, that's your 800 number. And also, you guys have set up a meeting, right, in May?
Yeah, and for Jasper, May the 19th, we're fixing to start managing, developing strategies to manage this disease. And when we start talking about managing it, the one of the number one things is that you don't want your prevalence rate to increase, and you don't want the disease to get out.
Yeah.
So containment is going to be huge. So there's going to be a regulation package coming that's with the goal in mind of containing this disease and also not promoting the disease. And so we're going to have some regulations come forth, and that's where the public meetings are going to begin. We just put the one on the calendar of May the 19th in Jasper because that's where these people. That's the hot spot right now is Newton County. But we can foresee other meetings around the state because it's going to impact many hunters and just the way that hunting's been over time. But when you start talking about carcass moving, because the worst thing we want this disease to do is break away and get off into South Arkansas or get off in Ouachita Mountain somewhere else. So we're going to try to contain it, and I think that'd be a win if we could do that.
That's what you're after. Folks, you can go to www.agfc.com/CWD. Get a lot of information there. We're going to post all of this on lroutdoors.com, my website, for information, because we got a lot of folks over here that hunt in Arkansas. And, of course, being from Arkansas, I don't want anything bad to happen over there. Cory, thank you for taking time to be with us, and we're going to stay in touch, okay?
All right, very good. Y'all have a good morning.
All right, thank you, man. All right. I hate to end on a sober note like that, but that's an important thing, folks, that's happening in Arkansas. Next week it's Open Mic Saturday. Take your calls, give away prizes. We've got a weekend with Gene Smith that we're giving away next weekend at the library in Fraser. So you'll be able to...
Bartlett.
Bartlett?
Yeah, we moved.
Oh, you have moved. Okay. And then, of course, we might give away a poem by Charlie Covington over there. We'll give you a handwritten copy.
Yeah,
and he can autograph it.
Yeah.
Of this last poem. We'll just print it off, and Charlie will autograph it for you, and we'll give away give away the poem next week. And Guy Trebo will take care of all this, all the prizes and everything. So looking forward to it. Here comes May. Remember, May 23rd. What happens on May 23rd?
Happy birthday.
That's my birthday.
To you.
And these are very important to have now.
Yes, they are. Oh, yeah.
They're very important to have. Anybody else?
I'll bring a paddle.
Huh?
I'll bring a paddle.
Anybody else got a birthday in May here? I thought Guy did.
all right,
When's your
Guy.
birthday, Guy? The 29th is Guy Trebo's birthday. Much more important day, yeah. All right, we got to get out of here. Appreciate Greg Ratliff taking care of us with his skull shirt on. I've been looking at now for a while, and I think I'm going out and look for a roadkill, after that. Charlie, thank you, Charlie Covington.
Thank you.
Gene Smith, thank
sir.
you. Guy Trebo, thank you. We'll be back next week, God willing, on Outdoors with Larry Ray. And don't forget, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport, and God bless the USA.
You can find